Hello, hello. I hope everyone can hear me well. Let me know if something is with the sound, if something needs to be adjusted or changed. You can write in the chat. Okay, so the basic rules of these meetings for conversation is, first of all, I really like it if it becomes a discussion, so not just me talking, but you also adding things, and you have two options. You can write in the chat, or what is very nice here, you can also say something. And to have it in an orderly way, we use this function to raise the hand. There's a raise the hand function that everyone should see. Sometimes people don't see it or have trouble finding it. And then if that's the case for you, if you're really unable to find this function, then you can just write in the chat that you are raising your hand. Okay, and then when you raised your hand, I can unmute you. You can actually also unmute yourself. So if I tell your name, you can just unmute yourself and say something. This meeting is also being recorded, and like the last meeting, I will put it on my YouTube channel after, so everyone that is interested but cannot participate now can also listen. Good. This meeting has a long title, like in a sense a title that is a bit of a brainstorm, that reads like a brainstorm. And in a sense, this meeting has nothing to do with the current situation in the world with the coronavirus, because I was having the idea for this meeting already before. So now when I announced it, it felt a bit like, it sounds a bit like I'm now doing it because of the situation, which I really didn't want. I already did one meeting for coaches a few days ago, with many participants, and like for my for what's usually the participants here, and many people asking me after for the recording. So I don't really want to do another meeting that is about this, but of course there will be references to the situation now. In the first meeting, I was opening a subject in the end that was about business, different ways, ethics. It was very short in the end of the meeting, but I feel also it opened up a topic that I want to dive into now. Okay. Good. Let's start with this. Let's start with something that was a lucky find. Yeah, I'm currently listening to the audio book of Lord of the Rings, the German version. Last time I read Lord of the Rings is already some time ago. It was after I saw the first movie, then I read all the three Lord of the Rings. So that's what it was, 2001, I think the first movie came out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's quite some time ago. And recently I felt, now is the time I want to listen to it. Mainly I listen to it when I walk through the forest, so that's very nice. And there is one part in the first book, in the Fellowship of the Ring, where the group of the hobbits, the 4 hobbits, they get to a small town called Bre. I don't know the names in English. I only know the German names. Brie, yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. And the owner of this place, not of this place, not of Brie, the owner of tavern, can I say this? Like of of an inn, of a bed and breakfast, basically. The owner of a bed and breakfast in Bre, that is in the German version called Gerstenmann Butterblüm. He's a very, very nice businessman. So what happens? Like they are staying there overnight, and some guy in Bre tells the Nazgul, the ring, the ring. Oh fuck! I don't know anything of this in English. The ridden horsemen that search for the rings. Yeah, these black guys, the ring wraiths. Okay, thanks, Joe. The ring wraiths. Some guy there tells them that they're there in this bed and breakfast. So what's happening? They are hiding in a different room. The ring wraiths come into the room where they think they are, and they destroy everything. And what they also do is they go to the stable of the bed and breakfast, and they let all the horses run away. So in the morning, the hobbits want to take their ponies to continue their journey. The ponies are gone. So what's happening now? Who's responsible? Who takes the blame for this? You put your pony into the stable of this bed and breakfast, or you put your car into the closed parking lot of your hotel. Next day, the car is gone. I think mostly the answer would be that's, yeah, bad luck. That's not something the owner of the hotel needs to take responsibility of. But Gerstmann Butterblüm is different, guys. He's taking responsibility. So what he's doing, he's organizing a horse for them. And it's very difficult to organize. He's organizing one. He's paying for this horse, and he's paying them what the ponies are worth, like to the hobbits. He's paying this to the hobbits what the ponies are worth. Which I guess the hobbits it doesn't really help them much, because they don't really need any money on the journey, but they need horses. But anyway, like, he's taking the responsibility for it, because he says, yeah, it's my place, and I have I have like an honor here. I have like a responsibility, and my how do you say it? My promise for my business is that the people that come here and stay here, they're safe. And since this wasn't the case, I take the blame. I really, really like this. I like that Tolkien is sort of like, he made a statement there about what he thinks is good business, what he thinks is taking responsibility. And I'm always very happy when I have encounters like this in my life. And I'm always a bit confused when I have other encounters which seem to be the norm, unfortunately. I started to make a log for myself of all the, let's say, not so good moments with companies which are mainly about customer service. Many companies have a customer service that I feel could be a bit improved. And I don't talk about like a way, like when I talk about customer service, I don't mean that they need to be like super polite or anything like this. I mean more in this way that Gersmann Butterblüm would also like to take responsibility for what you're offering. Yeah. Like, for example, I have a backpack and something broke from this backpack, like this one zipper broke. And I wrote to the manufacturer and asked them, where in Europe could I let it repair? Because it's like, yeah, it's not a cheap backpack. It's a sort of like a special zipper, and I wanted that it was repaired very well. And they told me they don't do any repairs in Europe. It's a US company. So I thought, okay, that's a bit weird, because their products you can buy everywhere in Europe. In Berlin, there are at least 4 shops where you can buy them. And then in whole Europe, they have no one to repair their stuff. Okay. Repairing is a big topic. There's not a lot of repair going on. Yeah. If you buy a product, then the likelihood that when it breaks and you can get it repaired, like officially from the company, is unfortunately very low with many products. But it seems to get better, and that's very nice, because some years ago, what started is repair cafes where you can bring your stuff and it gets repaired, or you can repair it, or someone is helping you to repair it. And also, I think, at least in the European Union, there's now starting to be more laws that is forcing companies to offer repair and to build the stuff in a way that it can be repaired. And this is especially for technical items. Yeah, but even for items where you think, okay, that must be possible to repair, like for example, like your washing machine, sometimes these are built in a way that if it is outside of the warranty, the repair costs so much that you rather buy a new washing machine. And that's very, very bizarre, obviously. And I read a few books about planned obsolescence, which, like some German books, which were based on a study on planned obsolescence, where they check things and blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of planned obsolescence. For example, one thing in a thing like a washing machine would be to place some chips that control the washing machine, the programs of the washing machine, to put them at a place in the washing machine where they get too warm. And the people that are like the engineers that know the materials, they can calculate how long this part will last with this heat that it gets. And at least in this book, they write that the calculation can be very accurate, like about a few months, like within the time frame of this few months, like for example, in 4 years, plus minus 3 months, this will break with a normal use. Yeah, and then of course you can build it in a way that the warranty stops and then it breaks. Doesn't always seem to work, because we have a dishwasher that broke within the warranty. But there was also a bit of a odyssey, because So the washing machine told us what's wrong. It says what's wrong. It says a code. And then I looked at the code in the internet and it said exactly what is wrong. So it said exactly which piece has to be repaired or removed with a new piece. Yeah. Okay, so we tell them, then the guy comes. Of course, it doesn't come next day. It takes 1 week. Guy comes, and this is a very expensive washing machine. Yeah, so it's not like a no-name. This is like the company that says their stuff lasts 20 years without breaking. Okay, so they come after 1 week. Guy comes, checks everything, blah blah blah. Takes 20 minutes. Then he says, "Okay, I need to get this piece." All right. I know already from the internet that you needed to get this piece. The question is, why don't you have it with you now? What's going on? So then he goes away and he tells me they need to order the piece. And when it's there, they will contact us. Okay, what do you think how long it takes to order this piece? If I order something here in Germany, usually it takes 2 days max until it's there. This piece takes 2 weeks. What's happening? It's a German company, and apparently they don't have this piece anywhere in Germany. Just like very normal piece of the washing machine. It's nothing special. It's the part that pumps the water out. It's just the pump. Yeah, it takes 2 weeks until this arrives in Berlin, and then it takes, of course, a few more days until the guy comes. And he puts it in. Takes a few minutes. Yeah, it's really like nothing special. Takes just a few minutes. Then he goes, then he tells me, hey, yeah, if you want, you can buy an extra warranty now to expand your warranty for like another year. Then I thought, okay, that's sounds a bit like a weird offer. After the washing machine broke, I should now pay more because now I know that it's not very reliable, but I bought it because the promise of the company is that they build extremely reliable things. Yeah, so that was a bit weird. And what was even more weird is when Annika was making the appointments with them, is that every time she called, someone else was in the line, like on the telephone. Of course, it's normal. But then people didn't know from each other what was already discussed. And they told us they will call us back. They never called us back, and so on and so forth. Funny enough, I had this a few times with such high quality companies. Apparently, the people or the companies that create high quality stuff, they don't really think their stuff is breaking. Some years ago, Annika bought a jacket, a winter jacket in winter. So when you need to use it, when you need it, a winter jacket. And this was also an expensive jacket where the promise is, okay, this lasts now for 20 years. Yeah. So after a few days, we notice, okay, a seam is broken and the filling gets out. So we go back to the shop, and then how long do you think it takes until it was repaired? They tell us 2 to 4 weeks, because they send it from Germany, they send it to the Netherlands, which is their European headquarters for repairing. Okay, does it take 4 weeks to send it to the Netherlands? It takes 2 days. Then it takes 5 minutes to make the seam, and then it takes 2 days to get it back. Okay, so 4 weeks, then what did we do? Yeah, Julian says I would go with Miele. What do you think the dishwasher is from that we have? So when they told us, okay, it needs up to 4 weeks, then what we did is look at the European law for repair if you have something that is very new. And then it says if they take a long time, basically if they take more than 2 weeks, they need to give you the money back. So we told them, okay, that's the law. And then suddenly it took exactly 2 weeks and not more. So it's definitely good to know what the law is in your country and in Europe. It definitely helps with all this stuff, because actually there are laws that are good for customers with repair, but obviously many companies don't care. And in this example with the jacket, it was also super annoying because I had to talk with the shop, and the shop then talked with them. So there was always someone in between. And when I tried to call them, they told me on the phone that they cannot give me any information. I have to talk with the shop. Yeah, one of the many cases that I had throughout the years that were super weird, in my opinion, because I think it's clear who has the responsibility. And I think an honorable way to deal with this would be to say, okay, we're taking care of this as quickly as we can. We are very sorry that this is happening, because this is not our promise. Obviously, if you buy a cheap product, that's something else. But if you buy something where at least they claim they have a certain quality, then the responsibility of the company doesn't stop when they sold the stuff, but then it actually starts. Okay, so what I do when I buy something is to look if this can be repaired. Are there reviews about repairing, and so on and so forth. And not always you find this. For example, with the shoes, with the minimal shoes, there are some companies that repair, and there are companies that don't repair. But in the end, there are also other factors, like who is producing the shoes that you like, that fit what you want. But I started to switch more to the shoe companies that say they are resoling, they're putting on a new sole, they're doing repairs, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, I didn't buy a pair of shoes in the last 3 years, so yeah, I don't really know what's going on there at the moment on this market. Okay, so responsibility. Yeah, let me just mention something about in general about how I choose what I buy. So I already said one thing is is it repairable? Yeah, there's obviously, if you buy an Apple, I don't care if it's repairable. But if I buy a pair of shoes, or a pair of pants, or a backpack, or a technical item, I definitely care if it can be repaired. Then quality. This I also mentioned already. And saying that I really like is, who buys cheap buys twice. And for me, I encountered this many, many times. Not always the case, but often it is the case. If you buy cheap, you buy twice. Maybe because it breaks earlier, maybe because it doesn't have the functions that you actually need, and so on and so forth. I know some people that like to buy cheap washing machines, but yes, they don't last the same time like a more expensive washing machine. Sometimes they do, but what I heard from other people that bought cheap washing machines, that's usually not the case. There's a reason why they're cheaper. And then the question is, does it actually cost you less money in the end? That's the big question. If you care about the money as the first thing, is it actually cheaper to buy something cheap, or are you just buying twice? And this is the calculation that you need to do in the end. And of course, there are things that are heavily overpriced, where you pay for the name. Yeah, obviously, a T-shirt where is written Adidas is usually not better where a T-shirt where this is not written. Like, it doesn't usually last longer, I mean. But other things in other areas also of clothing, not just a simple T-shirt, it can actually really make a difference. So quality, but what does quality mean? Quality means, of course, how well it is made, like how robust it is, or how easily it breaks. And the higher quality means it lasts longer. But then you could also say there are other things about quality. For example, is the usefulness. Like, can you use this for all the stuff you want to use this? Yeah. Let's say a saw. You buy a saw. Can you use this saw for lots of different pieces of wood, or will this be only for a very certain thing? But then if it is for a very certain use case, then maybe it's highly specialized on this, and then it's the best for this. But if I just want a general saw, this would be also for me part of the quality, that this can be used for many, many use cases. But obviously, if you go more deeper into things, then if you are a professional wood maker, then you have many different saws because you're so much into the topic, and then you need the highly specialized things. But if you are just need one saw, then you try to get one that you can use for many, many cases. And then you also look for a design that is timeless, a timeless design. Yeah, because you don't want to buy something that in a year, for example, a piece of cloth, in a year you cannot wear it anymore because it just looks so stupid and ridiculous that it's just impossible to wear it. Okay. Like, I would say, for example, the shoes with toes, which I was wearing for many years, they don't have a timeless design. They don't have a timeless design. The minimal shoes that look more normal, they have a much more timeless design. The likelihood that you stop wearing them because you think it looks a bit ridiculous, it's much less. So I would definitely go for something like this, and this with clothes in general. Like, I would never buy a piece of cloth where I'm not 100% sure this is like a timeless design. In 10 years, I can still wear this, on 20 years, and there's no problem. Yeah. So we have quality, we have the timeless design, we have the usability, we have and we have that it can be repaired. And all of this makes you buy less stuff. Okay. So if you buy your things in this way, you will buy less. And like this, we are already at ethics of buying, because we live in a time where there are many, many people on this planet buying many, many things. Many, many things need to be produced. And our world is somehow, is based on producing, that there is a constant growth and so on and so forth. But our planet is not based on constant growth. So I think we all understood it makes sense to look for a sustainable way to deal with our resources. And one way is to buy things that we have to buy only once. And I posted already a few times about this. I think I posted about maybe 1 or 2 times about things from the GDR, from the former East Germany, which was not a capitalist country. And many East Germans still have lots of things from this time. We also have few things. We have some glasses, for example, but much more prominently, we have this mixer that that you use for making cake or something like this, yeah, or bread. This is like 40 years old, the one that we have, and it just functions normally. So the things that have been created there in the system have been created to last because there were very few resources. So they build everything in a way to last very, very long. For several years, I had an architect in my training in Berlin, and he once told me that the floors, the like PVC floors made during this time, they're so robust. It's a nightmare to get them out of apartments. It's just a nightmare because they are so robust. They don't break. It's really, really annoying to take them out, and you could basically leave them there forever. But yeah, on the other hand, PVC has its problems. Definitely, I personally really dislike any PVC, but it lasts for a long time, the stuff that they created. And so it's possible. It's possible to build things that last for a very long time. Okay. Yeah. What else about ethics of buying? It's a topic that's with me for several years, and I already 2 times I wrote something about it, but currently I have nothing up about it. But what is also for me definitely a topic is to look where you buy, like if you can choose where you buy something, like a general product, like let's say you buy a phone, you buy a new phone, okay, you want to buy this phone, but then you can buy it from lots and lots of different places. You can buy it in the internet, you can buy it offline, and then you can buy it at lots of different shops. And I try, it's not always possible, but I try to buy it at shops that are more small. And I also try to buy offline. I'm not the best in this, and I tell you why, because I live a bit more outside. Here, there are no shops, basically. So if I want to buy something at a shop, it's always a travel. I always have to go there. So I'm ordering quite a bit of stuff, like quite a bit of my stuff. Not that I'm necessarily ordering quite a bit of stuff, but but the stuff that I order, I often order instead of going somewhere, just because time-wise it's with 2 kids and so on. It's not always possible to travel like 1 hour into the city to buy something, travel 1 hour out again. But if the possibility is there, then I buy at a shop, and prefer the specialized shops. For example, if I want to, let's say I want to buy a camera, I would go to a camera shop instead of a specialized shop, because this keeps also this let's say craftsman alive. Not that the guy in the camera shop is producing something, it's not a craftsman, but they have a certain knowledge, like there is a bit like a craftsman that they don't have in a general shop. You know, if you go to general electronic shops, you get the feeling the people are not so into it. But if you go into a camera shop to buy a camera, say you can talk with the guy for 1 hour before you buy the camera. So yeah, that's very, very, very nice. And I think we can all make this persist, that this still exists. And it's something you don't have in the internet. The pro of the internet is that someone in a small village can produce something and can sell it through the internet. So like this, crafts can be kept alive. So the internet is not really necessarily a killer for small things, for crafts, but it actually, if used properly, it can actually enhance this. It can help the small producers. It's just about looking where you buy, because every time you give money to someone, you are, in a sense, using your power. You make a powerful decision that is affecting the world. So every time I buy something, I think about where do I buy it. For example, if you buy something in the internet, you can buy almost everything from Amazon, no? Like almost everything you can buy there. But still, you can always go to different shops, and for most things that you find different shops, not for everything. Sometimes I need something that here in Germany is very hard to find. For example, like a product that is not German. It can be like books, for example. There's some English books that I really have a very hard time to find on other pages, and then I just take it. And then I just, okay, this I buy from Amazon. That's okay. But for other things, for example, like let's say again the camera, definitely I can't buy the camera on Amazon, of course, but I can also go to lots of different web pages, and usually it's the same price. Yeah, sometimes maybe it's a bit cheap, a bit more expensive, and I several times already did this. I saw it's more expensive, but then I decided, okay, that's okay for me. That it's more expensive. I pay this higher price. That's usually not much higher. Or maybe you want to contact them and say, hey, I found that here it's a bit cheaper. Maybe can you go a bit down with the price or something like this. It's not something that I would do, but there could be something to consider. Okay, Bettina wrote something. Also similar, I'm reading it out. Also similar with old Western German products. I got this old Singer sewing machine from my grandma. It was decades old and my grandma sew a lot. Then some years ago, a little screw broke. It would have been easy to exchange. They at Singer said that the screw doesn't exist anymore, and they offered me a brand new sewing machine. Back then, I thought, what a good deal. That sewing machine from Singer broke after 2 years. Yeah, that's a good example, because actually Singer is quite a known. It's quite known when you go into a shop where they sell sewing machines. They will tell you that the new Singer machines are very, very bad quality. And this used to be like a synonym for sewing machines and for high quality machines. So that's very odd, no? Very bizarre what happened to this company. It used to be high quality products. And nowadays, if you go into a specialized shop, they will tell you, no, don't buy from them because they are very bad quality. Okay, so choose where you're buying, choose what you're buying. Sometimes you are lacking information. Sometimes you're really lacking information. I had one case when I was in an electronics shop and I wanted to buy, it was MC, a cassette for my car with a cord, like with to plug it into my phone, you know, so you can listen through the tape. Through the tape, you can listen to the music that is on your phone. I hope that's clear. So I was in the shop and there were three different ones with 3 different prices. One was 10, one was 12, and one was 15 euro. I had zero clue about the differences. It didn't say on them. It was like zero description. So what did I do? In the end, I just bought the more expensive one, the most expensive one, the one for 15, because I thought, okay, it's just a little bit more money. And it might be that the sound quality is higher, and it might be that it lasts longer. And I take this 5 euro more. I take the risk, let's say, that I basically gave some more money and I don't get any advantage. But maybe it's not just about my advantage. Maybe the 5 euro more means also, okay, someone like the people that constructed this, they're paid more fairly. I don't think so, because then it usually would say, but in the end, with this decision that I made, definitely no one can blame me that I bought the cheap stuff and I through this, like, I don't know, created problems in the world and put quality down, or created that people are not getting paid fairly or something like this. Yeah. But I think the normal decision is to buy the cheap thing. So I want to make a stand to, in this situation, maybe not buy the cheap thing. Okay. Now I talked a lot about the ethics of buying and responsibility, but I want to shift to the other things that are in the title, the other words. And obviously feel free to say something. And exactly at this time, Julian raised his hand. So yes, please. Oh, no.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Hi, Josef. Nice to hearing from you again. I was thinking about my decisions I make when I think about stuff I buy, and there's for me there's also so many individual factors to consider. Like, for example, I also think about how often do I use something. Like, do I go for a cheaper one or a more expensive thing? I'd go for a more expensive thing if I spend, or like better, more expensive thing when I spend more time with it. And if it's something I need, but I only use it like sometimes, not very often, and it still does the job, when it's not that expensive, I'd probably go with a cheaper one, because I'm also thinking about my resources. And another thing I discovered is, a friend of mine, for example, he loses stuff all the time. Like, he's notorious in losing stuff. And he tends to spend less money for material stuff because he just keeps losing it. Which also made me think, okay, I understand it. He's not willing to spend a lot of money because the thing won't be staying with him that long. And something I'm like, maybe that's a question for later. Something I'm very interested in is, how do you translate the things you talk about at the moment to, so to say, your product, like your teaching and what you do? That would be, I'm very interested in it. Yeah, what do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Julian. Okay. Okay. Let me say something about this case that I think is very, very good to mention this. People that always lose things, and I have these people also in my family. For example, I have people in my family highly organized, basically never lost a thing in their life, and people that spend like half of their day every day searching for their keys. Yeah. I got out of this I got out of searching for my keys very simply. I always put all my things at the same spot. So yeah, for example, if I have a jacket with 4 different pockets, my keys are always in the same pocket, or I put my keys always at the same place in the room, and so on and so forth. This is pretty basic actually, but once you trained yourself to do this, you will search for things less often, and then the next step is to create habits that make you lose things less, that make you always put things back into the pockets, for example, or that make you always close your pockets instead of having the pockets open, and so on and so forth. When I bought my first more expensive phone, then some of my friends already had some expensive phones, and many of them had broken, the glass was broken. So I saw this, and then I just decided for myself that this will never happen to me. I will never drop my phone, and I will never have my screen broken. And until now, it never happened. but it was very conscious decision to say, okay, I see this happening to people, and I don't want this to happen to me, so I won't let it happen. Yes, my phone also fell a few times. Maybe I was just lucky. Okay, but I can really understand that someone wants to buy cheap, like if he knows, okay, I won't use it so long because I will probably lose it, then I buy cheaper things. But maybe it's also a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it could be like the other way, could be also to say, okay, now I buy something very expensive, and this I will not lose because I will have my eyes on it. Yeah, maybe it doesn't work. I don't know, because I don't have personal experience with this, because I don't lose things, so I don't know how it is if you lose things constantly. But might be a try, might be an expensive try, but anyway. And I also understand this idea of, and it makes sense to me, if you use something less, then of course for me there's no need to buy something that is of very high quality and therefore more expensive. Yeah, like let's talk about a washing machine. If I'm not washing often, let's say someone has a second apartment somewhere in a different city because he needs to work there and he has a washing machine, but actually he's very, very rarely using it. So for him, it makes sense to buy a cheaper one, because probably there's some deterioration with the washing machine. Also, if you don't use it, like there's some wearing off. Maybe a washing machine is not the best example. Better example would be maybe something like a tire, like the tires on your cars. If you don't use your car often, you don't need to have very expensive tires, because there's wear off anyway. The tires wear off through time. Also, if you don't use your car, so then you will just buy cheaper tires. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, but and another question was, how do you translate the things that I talk about to my products, to my stuff? So first of all, I don't sell products. Yeah, I sell like what I offer is a service. So that's tiny bit different, but there are similarities, of course. So definitely what we're trying to do is to offer a high quality, and to also adjust, and that it's possible to talk with us. So let's say with our online support, we are very adjustable. So it's not the one size fits all, at least this online support that we offer at the moment, where we say it's adjustable, and we say, okay, we offer something. If it doesn't work for you, like if we write something for you and it doesn't work, of course we adjust it. Yeah, so we see that it's our responsibility to adjust to the person, and we're trying to, in a sense, to be very reachable. That doesn't mean that we answer super quickly. It means more that we show that we are open and people can openly communicate with us. Yeah. But, probably I need to think about it a bit more to make a proper answer about it. But for me, it was always very important to offer something that is very truthfully communicated, where there's no, I don't use any language that is like deceptive in any way. Yeah, and that is where I'm trying to manipulate people. So I'm not trying to manipulate anyone. I'm just saying what we're doing, and then if it interests people, then they can come. And I'm trying to place the work that we do in a we're at a place where it's clear we have ethics behind it that are about being professional. And okay, that's a good opportunity to talk about this one word that I added here to the title, which was Dilletantism, because this is something that is annoying me a lot. And this is definitely also about services, that I think you have some honor or dignity. Maybe that's a better word, dignity, than honor. You have like a certain dignity with your work, no? So you're doing something, whatever it is. Like maybe you produce something, maybe you have a service, maybe blah blah blah. Maybe it's a combination of both. And the work that I do is not about earning money. You know, money happens also. I do this work and it helps other people, and then I receive money because my work is valuable for society. But I feel good about my work if I do good work, where I feel, okay, this has a quality. I put my effort in, and a truthfulness also, and a sense of perfecting or doing it very well. And recently, my aunt, there was in the shower in her apartment. Someone remade the shower, renovated the shower, and these guys were so dilettantic. It was incredible. It took them so long to do it, like, because they didn't really, I don't know, they didn't do long work days. They didn't work 8 hours, but only 4 or something like this. But they didn't say why. Then when I looked at the work in the end, it was so bad that I thought, okay, if I watch like a few YouTube videos, I will probably be able to do this in less time, because I will just, if someone would pay me, I would just come here and do like 8 hours, rest very little, and just do it. And then these people were like having smoking breaks, and one day they arrived, like one was a bit drunk, and blah 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 blah. So this was so dilettantic, but somehow happening regularly. If you have a car, for example, and you need to have something repaired, you better have a garage that you trust, because what happens there with car repairs is just incredible. Like the lack of ethics, like the lack of will to really do truthful and good work is it's like everyone knows it that owns a car, that you need to ask someone, like you need to ask a friend if they know someone to trust. I'm very lucky. I found a garage I really trust. They're telling me exactly what they're going to do, what they did. They show it to me. Also, they find solutions that cost less money, and so on and so forth. They're pretty old school. Yeah. And they know it makes sense because the customers stay with them. They know it makes sense because they have a reputation. They have a reputation here in the district where I live. Many people go to them because people are talking good about them. And I don't understand why so many people allow themselves to do work where people will talk badly about them. Yeah, and it will really hurt them. For example, I went with a taxi here in my district. I went somewhere, and the taxi driver told me about one big car seller here in my district that is very known. Everyone knows it, and like half of the district buys their car there. And he told me stories about them that made it clear for me, I will never in my life give these guys any money. So their reputation in my eyes, for me, was completely destroyed by this taxi driver, because taxi drivers, you can trust their opinion, you know, they had many cars in their life. They are driving all the time. If you want to get a suggestion for a good garage, ask the taxi driver. So he told me, don't go there. This is a very dishonest place. Okay, so that's it. I will never go there. I don't understand why people are doing it, why people are like, why people are behaving like this, destroying their own work, why people are not caring about their dignity, trying to do the best work that they can. And this is very important, especially if you're freelancing. Now I'm trying to put these words in for the last few minutes that we have that I didn't talk about yet. If you're freelancing or entrepreneurial, yeah, or if you're self-employed, it's very important, your reputation, that you build a good reputation. And you do this through doing high quality work and basically giving more than what you receive. I would say, like giving more than what you receive, like being there for the people that you work with, that buy something from you, and being, what I said, like very reachable, which doesn't mean that you answer your emails all the time or that you're on the phone. It doesn't mean that it's clear. People can talk with you, can talk with you about the stuff, and can also say if they need an adjustment. Yeah, and then just to spend your time getting better at what you're doing. And Leroy wrote me something. Leroy, you've wrote this as a private message instead of to everyone, but anyway, under promise and over deliver, not over promise and under deliver. Yeah, that's nice. That's very nice to sum it up. If you want to watch a documentary where this idea of, let's say, like putting dignity in your work is clear in every second, it is Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Yeah, look at this and you will understand what it means to put your dignity into your work. It's very, very good documentary, Jiro Dreams of Sushi. We have only 2 minutes left, and I didn't really talk about many things that I wanted to talk about, but we will do it next time, because I didn't talk about survival and more about entrepreneurship. I will keep it for next time. Cliffhanger, guys, cliffhanger. But is there something from you? Does someone want to add something? Does someone want to say something? Or maybe make a suggestion for how this should continue with the next meeting? Definitely, I will talk about why I put into the title here, survival and freelancing and entrepreneurship and so on, because I talked about good business, responsibility, ethics of buying and selling, about dilettantism, but not so much yet about the other things. Stay tuned. Okay. Good. I'm happy because there was a bit of participation from your side as well. I hope that it gets more through time. I'm always happy for the courageous people that put their voice in here. Yeah, it's nice if you write, but I like it especially if someone switches on his or her microphone and says something in front of everyone. That's very, very nice. Okay, so next time we will talk about the topics that we missed. We will talk about also things like discounts. We will talk about why I think work exchanges is something problematic. And we will talk also about how, like, some ideas about pricing, like how to price something, or how I think something should be priced, or also what I think you're actually doing with your money, which is not always what you think you're doing. Crazy cliffhanger. Thank you for participation, and see, or better, let's say, hear you next time, which will be next week. All right, guys, have a nice day.